told you about Ryan and Anna, that young couple who honeymooned in the Northwest? Well, imagine if they'd flown in here to SeaTac Airport and just said, we're going to go it alone.
Yeah, no road maps, no asking for help, no listening, no spare tire, let alone a steering wheel, no compass to even tell them which direction they were headed. Well, I can tell you this, they would have had some kind of experience here, but certainly not as rich or as meaningful as if they had had a road map, asked for help, or even asked directions.
The point is, prayer is like that. Prayer helps us to start to see our lives and our relationships as God sees them, from His point of view.
Now get this, here's something that may surprise you about prayer. Not only is praying one of the most powerful correlates of marital happiness, but married couples who pray together are 90% more likely to report having higher satisfaction in their sex lives than couples who do not pray together. 90%.
We thought that might get your attention. So when it comes to marriage mentoring, prayer is far beyond a skill. And there are 3 different ways that prayer fits into a mentoring relationship: praying for your mentorees, praying with your mentorees, and encouraging your mentorees to pray together.
Well, let's look at the first one, praying for your mentorees. When you genuinely mentor a couple, of course you want the very best for them, a strong marriage, a deep connection to each other and to Christ, a healthy family, but whatever you desire for them is far more than you have the power to give them. And that in and of itself causes us to pray.
I think one of the things that I have loved more than anything about our mentor couple is that they're committed to praying for us.
Yep.
And I think if anything, that's all they did for us, I think that would be setting our marriage up for success more than anything else.
And we really do believe that they understand and value the fact that we're praying for them. And we ask them to pray for us. And so it's not one-sided. And that just emphasizes the importance of prayer and really, I think, heightens the need for it and also a comfort level knowing that you have some advocates out there.
We may not see Tom and Sherry every day, but to know that they're praying for us, considering the things that are happening in our lives and taking a deep empathy for that means a lot.
How about praying with your mentorees? That's something that can be a bit hard for some people, to pray out loud with others. But even though praying with your mentorees isn't a prerequisite, it can be incredibly rewarding.
That is a time when they really understand how very interested we are in the day-to-day workings of their lives and their needs, their joys, their burdens.
Just recently, we had a couple in our home a few weeks ago, and he was sharing about how he had just lost his new job, and it was really stressful. They had a mortgage, newlyweds, just less than 6 months married, and Corey said, "Would it be okay if I prayed with you?" And we just sat there and prayed, and this gentleman wept. It was really powerful. But I think we always ask, can we pray with you?
And finally, it's a great idea to encourage your mentorees to pray together as a couple.
One couple we mentored, Tom and Kathleen, they had been married for about 5 years. They were an incredibly strong couple in their faith and their church work, and everyone just looked up to them. They'd spent all this time dedicating their lives to being these vibrant spiritual leaders, but it turns out they neglected the very soul of their marriage, and they'd hit a pretty rough place because of it.
So we asked them during a mentoring session, when was the last time the two of you prayed together? No guilt, it was just a simple question, and it was pretty clear from the expressions on their faces that it had been quite a little while since they'd done that.
So we gave them this simple assignment, more like an experiment actually, and that was to pray briefly together at some point in their day, even if it was only for a minute, even if all they did together was recite the Lord's Prayer. So about 6 days later, we get this call, and Kathleen was on the phone, and she said, "Leslie, I know this is going to sound crazy, but our relationship has done an about-face."
Okay, so we're not saying that the results of your mentorees praying together are necessarily going to be as dramatic or as quick as this, but one thing is certain, and that is that time in shared prayer has a profound impact on a marriage.
And we actually worked with some of our community groups,
Small groups
at church, and they asked us to come in. They were looking for an older couple. Not that we would fit that bill. It was us. But yeah, anyway, they were looking for an older couple to come in and kind of do a little mentoring with their group. So we put together a bunch of different things and talked about, different exercises they could work on in their group. And at the end of each session, what we did is we asked the group, all right, instead of going around and asking about Great Aunt Tilly's bursitis and praying for that, we said, you as couples go to different parts of the house and you sit and pray. And what was really fascinating was some of it never prayed together. And all of a sudden they were saying, that was the highlight of the time we spent. I mean, you guys were okay, but praying together, that really kind of set some tone for us as a couple.
So whether it's praying for your mentorees, with your mentorees, or encouraging your mentorees just to pray together, it helps to remember that prayer is not about impressing anyone.
No, not at all. You don't have to be a spiritual giant or pretend to be somebody that you're not. Prayer is a powerful tool in the hands of any marriage mentor, and it's as simple as communicating what's on your heart. When it comes to spelling the words marriage mentoring, there's an important point, a kind of object lesson that can be made by emphasizing the capital M's.
That's because it reminds us how important it is for marriage mentors to stay sharp and refreshed.
In his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey describes something that illustrates this beautifully. He calls it sharpening the saw. Now, imagine if you come across this guy in the woods and he's working feverishly to saw down a tree. It's clear he's exhausted, and you ask him, hey buddy, how long you been at this? The guy barely has time to answer. He says, over 5 hours. So you say, well, why don't you take a break, man? Sharpen the saw, it'll go a lot faster. He looks at you like you're nuts and says, I don't have time to sharpen my saw. Can't you see I'm busy sawing?
Can you relate to that? We've all been there. Whether it's home life or work life or anywhere in between, this is so true for a lot of us. Sharpening the saw is shorthand for renewal. It's about improvement. It's about learning and staying sharp. And when it comes to marriage mentoring, it's absolutely vital.
It's the willingness to work, I think, has been a real issue for me on having a strong relationship with Joy. It's the willingness to really be honest and work. And she has to judge that. I can say, yeah, I'm working at it, and just sort of lay back and just let it all happen. But she's going, Jim. And when she says that, if I'm really going to be honest with her, who I have to be honest with because we're with each other every day, I've got to own up to my own responsibilities and the accountability of living out what I've said.
One of the real powerful experiences in our marriage has been Donna Ray's insistence on excellence in our marriage, that we not settle for second best. And so she's been willing to call me on the carpet, which was difficult for my ego and has been a journey for me to become a thoughtful person and learn how to cherish her and esteem her. And we try to impress that on the young couples as well.
We've found, I think, that as we spend time with the mentorees, we're actually invigorated by that. They're younger than we are, and there's something about being around them and the youth and vitality that they give that somehow energizes us as well.
As mentors, you're the instrument. You and your marriage are the actual tools being used to help another couple. And that's why your mentoring can only be as good as you are.
Right, and the 2 key components to staying sharp as marriage mentors are self-improvement and renewal and marriage improvement and renewal.
We had you do that brief exercise in your workbook because self-awareness is an essential step to self-improvement. You have to know where you are to know where you want to go.
Some of the most effective tools for self-improvement and renewal are actually pretty common. Prayer and meditation, keeping a journal, or even just asking yourself some key questions like, how am I feeling these days? More secure or more insecure?
You might also think about asking your spouse or a trusted friend or even a personal coach for feedback. It can take courage, of course, but it's also an invaluable way to learn more about yourself. Others can often point out blind spots, things that you don't see in yourself.
What about marriage improvement and renewal? Well, one thing we know plenty about is marriage seminars, and every year we give dozens of seminars to couples who have taken a day and set it aside to seek out a marriage tune-up.
One of the things I think is important for us as a couple to stay sharp is to not only continually talk and pray together and what have you, but to be able to get into marriage materials, to continue to learn and really take the time to invest in our marriage. And as we do that, it really pays off.
We have a shelf just of relationship books that we've read through. We check out tapes out of the library and we'll listen to them. And there's times we'll be driving down the road and we checked out one tape. It was a 45-minute tape. We took a drive to the coast from Portland. And I think we got halfway through the tape because what we did is we would listen to a section, we'd hit the stop button, and then we'd talk for 15 minutes about what was going on. So we really love doing that because it really builds us. And if our relationship's better, and because we like to be transparent, it's easy to spill over into our couples.
What about finding a mentor yourself? We've been married for over 20 years and we've always had a marriage mentor. Having an objective couple in our lives who speaks truth to us has just been a huge gift in our marriage.
You know, not that all the time you spend with this couple is going to be heavy, you know, talking over your problems, but when you've got another couple like that, it doesn't take much to, you know, hey, what have you guys been fighting about lately? Or, you know, do you see any blind spots in us? You know, we give you permission.
The fact of the matter is, you can't give away what you don't have. That's why I love this quote from Henry Nouwen, who said, "Time given to inner renewal is never wasted. God is not in a hurry."
That is so true. And it's relevant to all aspects of staying sharp and refreshed in your own self and your own marriage, because only then can you truly become the best marriage mentors you can be.